Okay, I promise not to get too far into the weeds of the technical limitations of the era. I promise I'll try. I will not succeed. I'm gonna be yapping a lot. You can't be that surprised. Nice setup. Gives us an idea of how much devastation there is, the level of destruction going on. We get some perspective if you want to look around to like see these like significant monuments in the distance. You don't get a really good sense of scale. I guess you can see some gunfire, so you might start to get some sense of scale. Actually, that's probably deceptive because that's probably some very heavy gunfire. So it's probably a lot larger than it looks, actually.
Cover, you lot.
I think... Am I being aim assisted? I'm actually not sure. It looks like it's being a little bit forgiving. Like, it's not moving my reticle, but you can see the bullets snapping to things a little bit, it looks like. I don't have to be that dead on. I think it's being very forgiving under the guise of... what do you call it? Accuracy. Like, that larger reticle is just like, as long as you're in here, maybe it's okay. Alright, again, you like, if you're a new player to this, if you know nothing about 40K,
The Emperor be with you, Space Marine.
doesn't tell you a lot, but like the little nods go a long way. Emperor be with you, Space Marine. You got this very gothic looking, what you can kind of assume is some sort of drop pod. You hear the Emperor, you know, you sort of get that that's somebody important. You probably assume it's an actual person, living normal person. The 998 Godwin powdered bolter is the characteristic Space Marine battle rifle firing self-propelled explosive tipped rounds. Having to actually hit enter and not just click on it.
This way, boys. I'm gonna kill him first.
Alright, full auto. Gives us some guys right off the bat to test it on. I wish that the camera was a bit more pulled out. It is a very narrow field of view that tends to bother me personally. Like, it actually starts to hurt my head a little bit. But I also, just from a gameplay perspective, prefer to play it with a wider range of view anyway. We're gonna ignore some nice directional audio there to give you.
Destroy them.
Letting us see some of the enemy, or some of our allies fighting enemies. My recollection is there's no actual working cover system. There's no hunker behind cover. It's just stand behind something if you don't want to get shot. It's, again, very arcadey, so, you know, technically I should be firing into the cliff right now, but I'll take it. In addition to playing the campaign, I also played a not insubstantial amount of the multiplayer of this game, which even a few years later was like, I wouldn't say robust, but had enough players to like get some games going pretty regularly. It is very brown-gray color graded. Not so aggressively that it's like woefully ugly, but it certainly detracts from my ability to even like identify targets and shoot them, you know? I'm mostly doing it based on muzzle flash.
Leandros, are you wounded?
The Codex Astartes warns against using jump packs to leap blindly into enemy fire, and for good reason.
Your days as a novice are behind you. Why do you still interpret the Codex so narrow?
Ooh. Why is it
I
hiccuping?
looked at its rules for guidance.
We all do. But there are also benefits to thinking for yourself, Leandros.
So, side note, since I don't think it's something I've necessarily talked about before, mostly because I don't particularly talk about the chapters or the post-heresy Imperium and the Astartes in too much direct detail all that much. If you're not familiar, a little background, repeating a little bit of what I've said before. The Space Marines are divided up into chapters of approximately 1,000 Space Marines. This is after the Horus Heresy, which was sort of a schism within the Empire, etc., etc. The chapter, that's when the chapter system sort of was created, and the Primarchs were no longer in direct control of the legions. And that's really when came from Roboute Guliman, Robot Guliman, who wrote the leader of the Ultramarines and
Sedona's picked up
the
the
writer of the
Imperial
Codex
Guard
Astartes.
communications. They survived under the shadow of that gun. I want to know how.
The point of the Codex was really to, after the fall of the Emperor, and after the Horus Heresy, Guliman was appointed as I'm forgetting what his title exactly was, but he was basically the head of of all the Space Marines, basically as an administrative way, not in the I give everybody orders kind of way. So he was both in charge of, he was sort of seen as the successor to organize the Marines and ensure that the ideals of the Emperor were sort of continued, even when the Emperor could no longer directly enforce his ideas. Guliman was viewed as the most appropriate successor, and continues to be in the, whatever we are in, 43rd. Are we in the 43rd millennia at this point? Or is this still like the 41st or something? I don't know.
My lord, you have saved us.
The bowing is a little
Rise,
much.
Guardsmen. You saved yourselves. We thought you did.
We would be, my lord, if not for the lieutenant.
Where will we find this lieutenant?
At the front lines. Follow the trench network to the lieutenant's command bunker.
Carry on, Guardsmen. We rendezvous with Sedonas, then we find this lieutenant. We need updated intel on the gun battery.
Through here, my lords. Head out the upper level and continue through the plaza. The bunker is beyond that.
So the importance of the Codex is really that it's basically the guiding document after the Horus Heresy for how the Astartes engage in warfare. Now, that's a very idealized version of things. Even within the Ultramarines and their various successor chapters, it's still not followed to a T by any means. And it's not necessarily supposed to be a governing body. This isn't, this isn't the you get drummed out if you break it or something like that. And when it comes to other Primarchs, other legions, and their successor chapters, like the Codex is sometimes barely followed at all, even though by all accounts it's supposed to be the guiding document, if nothing else, so that the various chapters can coordinate with each other and work together more effectively as well. In addition to just making a more effective fighting force in the first place. So that has its ups and downs, but within the Ultramarines, it sort of raises a different kind of question, especially I don't know what group this is necessarily supposed to be.
I see you found something to keep you busy.
Worry not, Captain.
But violation of the Codex might be viewed in different ways depending on who you are and what your rank is and who you're with.
No mistake. But typical Orc behavior would be to dismantle or destroy the gun.
And certainly not use it to keep our forces at bay. There's a strategy behind it. Their leader is no fool.
This day is getting interesting.
I may have encountered the Orc during our jump to the surface.
That was the Orc ship I saw crash near here, I take it. Did he survive?
If the Horde hasn't turned on itself, it's still under his control.
Alright, Chainsword unlocked. The Mark 9? Is that 9 or 11? I can never remember. I think it's 11, right? Because it should be I before X. Yeah. The Mark 11 Hell's Teeth Chainsword is the close combat weapon of choice among Space Marines, combining terrifying power and great speed. Mouse 4 to strike, mouse 5 to stun. Alright, yeah, this is a little bit late to be coming up, but I get it. See the combat controls. Okay. Part of the reason I'm going into so much about the Codex is because it is more relevant than usual in this game. There is a substantial amount of momentum to your movement, I should say. It doesn't necessarily feel satisfyingly weighty, which would be my preference, but it is noticeable. The lag, like that took like a full. The momentum depends on how fast you're moving to. I'm gonna let go now. That's a long time for you to keep moving. It's also noticeable, like the input delay. This actually feels less like it's a momentum thing and more like it's an input lag thing, of just. You can hear my keyboard probably. There's a lot of input delay. I could use some ammo. I also don't think, like, that flashing is really aggressive, but I don't think the game has yet explained the differentiation between your health and your shield either. The yellow is a refractor shield, the red is supposed to be sort of your armor or health. I think it just refers to the yellow as armor though, because that's more standard terminology for most video games. The enemies don't react super satisfyingly to your shots or attacks, but not insignificantly either. Alright, nothing there. It was just ammo that I was picking up. That's fine. How much should I get? Yeah, so this is what I'm remembering, is that the ammo drop limitations are unfortunate. Also, this regular zoom out is, or the regular cut to cutscene is a little unfortunate. Can you guys take care of this stuff, or I gotta do it myself? That is crunchy. I don't think that's something I can actually interact with at all, but anyway. There is a lot of debris that I cannot move over at all. I don't believe there's a jump of any kind. My orc knowledge is not very good, and it's been some time since I touched in that area of the 40k lore. I believe those things are squigs. It's funny because they are all the same species. They are all technically, genetically the same. They're all derived from the same base of genetics. The goblin-looking ones, the orc-looking ones of various sizes, the little, you know, ones that look like dogs or pigs or something. They're all the same, technically. You said pick up grenades, but if there was a mention of how to use the grenades, I missed that. Is it G? It is not G. Is it... Killed it before I could use it. It's fine. I can't tell if I'm getting friendly fired or if that's just...
Dropship incoming!
Alright, real quick. What are my... These are just the melee options. Is there really no place to look up the controls? Did I miss something? Doesn't look like it. Well, anyway. Can't rebind the controls either, it seems, which is unfortunate, because a few of these I would like to rebind. Alright. No, actually, not time to die. I'm going to go check the controls real quick and also take a quick break. And yeah, we'll come back and fight this fella.